Iran's foreign minister is in the Lebanese capital as Israeli airstrikes close in on leaders of the Hezbollah militia, which is supported by Tehran. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi met with Lebanon's caretaker prime minister. The visit comes only hours after Israeli warplanes struck a building that reportedly contained a bunker where Hezbollah officials were meeting. Media reports say the overnight attack aimed to kill a possible successor to leader Hassan Nasrallah, who was killed last week. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has delivered a sermon during Friday prayers in Tehran. He made this rare appearance to offer a special prayer for the late Hezbollah leader. Khamenei said in his speech that, quote, "Every country has a right to protect itself from aggressors." He also defended Hamas terror attacks against Israel last year, calling them legitimate and legal. And for more analysis, I'm now joined by Bental. He's a senior fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies and an Iran expert, normally based in Washington, D.C., currently in Paris. Tell us more about what Khamenei had to say.
Pleasure to be with you. This was indeed a defiant, defensive, and I would even say aggressive Friday prayer sermon by Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, really reasserting how really literal that title is, Supreme Leader, given his role in the Iranian political system and really his role in pushing Iran forward through the multiple conflicts of the post-October 7 Middle East. Naturally, he had a somewhat interesting historiography of the past year of how the Iran-Israel shadow war moved out into the open. There's been a bit of a propaganda spin as well, if you could put that politely, as to how Iran thought it was winning, or how he framed Iran as winning, particularly the April round and the October round of direct missile contact between Iran and Israel. As well as, of course, trying to generate support for the regime staying in the fight. And this is, of course, a very, very tall order because vast swaths of the Iranian population oppose this. And as you know, since 2009, have been actively chanting against the regime and against Khamenei's aggressive Islamist rather than nationalist foreign policy.
Now, this was the first time in 5 years that Khamenei held such a public address. What do you make of the timing?
Indeed, Khamenei doesn't often give Friday prayer sermons, but if you look at his career in the past, particularly in the 1980s when he was president, he was actually quite famous for these very politically charged Friday prayer sermons. And in the much more recent history as Supreme Leader, when he has basically intervened to give them, they've kind of been akin to a State of the Union for the Islamic Republic of Iran when he gives these sermons, trying to explain how things got to where they are and try to generate support even among regime elites for the way things will go. So indeed, in terms of his own personal career and political calendar, it was an important milestone. But as an analyst externally, I have to tell you, it's a lot more proof that the Islamic Republic is going to be doubling down on a lot of the things that we've been seeing come out of that regime since October 7th.
Khamenei has also very much framed the conflict as one between Israel and the whole Muslim world. How is this rhetoric being received across the region?
Well, it's very interesting. In places where the regime has made the most advances, those tend to be really failed states or states where there are downtrodden and dispossessed population. Meaning today, the Islamic Republic's ideology isn't what is capturing them. It's their ability to put material support into, again, downtrodden and dispossessed populations who see no way out or no brighter political future for themselves. That's why, broadly, in places in the Middle East where there is both a stable political order or a much better economic outlook for the average citizen, this message carries essentially little to no resonance. But again, through the constellation of failed states, and particularly when the outlook looks bleak, this message does have some resonance. And this is really Iran's ability, I should really say the Islamic Republic's ability to play the Palestine card, to divide the Arab street from the Arab state, divide the pro-American forces in the region from America itself, and to distance and delay potential political normalization between Israel and Saudi Arabia.
Now, Iran's foreign minister, as we've heard, is currently visiting Beirut. What can we expect from that visit?
Well, first and foremost, the fact that the visit occurred, because we had known that there were a desire by Iran's foreign minister to go earlier, but the conflict, to be frank, did not permit it. But the fact that the meeting occurred and the fact that there was actually pictures from the meeting is basically the Islamic Republic signaling its defiance, that despite the loss of a senior-ranking IRGC official in that country, despite the gutting of Lebanese Hezbollah by Israel, that the Islamic Republic is going to be doubling down on the same approach that allowed it to develop this kind of asymmetric military power in the Levant, just to Israel's north. So this is the Islamic Republic trying to co-opt what is left of the Lebanese state and trying to build political support for its continued material support to the terrorist group Hezbollah.
The Iran expert Bental, thank you very much.
Thank you.